Now that we've seen the beginnings of what the affirmative talks about, let's explore what the negative talks about. To do this, we have to understand what the role of the negative team is and how they win a debate. The role of the neg is to disprove the plan is desirable. The plan is a normative statement. An actor should take an action. The affirmative team wins if that statement is true. If the actor should take the action, the affirmative wins. Therefore, the neg wins if the statement is false, i.e. that the actor should not take the action. The way the neg accomplishes this goal is twofold. One, by presenting defense, which responds to the affirmative team's reasons the actor should do the action. Two, by presenting offense, which advances reasons why actors should not do the action. Here's another way to think about it. After the 1EC, the affirmative has presented only reasons why the plan is a good idea. The negative has to tilt the balance of offense in their favor. They can do this by presenting offense that is more significant than the affirmatives, or they can present offense that is initially not as large, but mitigate and reduce the affirmative's offense by arguing the affirmative's claims are false, or they can reduce the affirmative team's offense to zero, an idea called presumption, which is a concept that is a bit advanced for this series. We will tackle that subject later on. Let's go through the genres of arguments the negative can deploy to win the debate. First, case arguments. Case arguments respond directly to what the affirmative said in the 1EC. They can be defensive or offensive. Defensive case arguments contradict the asked claims. Offensive case arguments come in two forms. One, the affirmative actually makes the problem they attempt to solve worse. Two, the thing the aff stops is actually good, or vice versa. The thing that the aff said is good is actually bad. Here are some examples. First is impact defense. If the aff said climate change threatens life on Earth, then impact defense would say climate change won't be that bad because humans could adapt, or the magnitude of climate change is exaggerated. Second is solvency takeouts. If the aff said a carbon tax would reduce global warming, a solvency takeout would be that in response to the carbon tax, companies would offshore their production from the United States, thus avoiding paying the tax and emitting the same amount of emissions. Third is solvency turns. This would involve arguing that the aff makes the problem worse. Take our offshoring example. If companies offshore and the new countries they operate in have less environmental regulation, that means that the aff has increased the propensity for environmental harm compared to doing nothing. The companies can emit the same amount, and they may produce new forms of pollution. Fourth, uniqueness. The negative can argue that the status quo is sufficiently resolving the issue. For example, they could read evidence that emissions are being curtailed enough now, or say that carbon pricing is likely to increase now. The next set of arguments will all be the subject of their own video and are the primary way the negative wins debates. Disadvantages. A disadvantage is an argument that the plan produces a bad effect. Counterplans. A counterplan is a negative advocacy that is a different way to solve the same harms the aff attempts to solve. Topicality. Topicality is an argument that says the plan is not within the bounds of the resolution. The argument is based off debating what the words in the resolution mean and what they should mean for the purposes of debate. Critiques. A critique is an argument that challenges the assumptions, methodology, knowledge production, or ideology behind an affirmative. These arguments rely on what academia refers to as critical theory. We'll talk about all of these genres of argument in their own videos. The big takeaway from this video is to begin thinking about arguments as offensive or defensive. In the following videos, we will go much more in depth on the variety of negative arguments.